Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, how to judge quality in tea. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my 5 insider tips on how you can quickly assess the quality of any tea. And then I'm going to be testing myself by doing some blind tastings to see if I can figure out which is the higher quality tea. This video is going to go under the Tea Masterclasses playlist. If at any point in time you enjoy this video, make sure you hit it with the thumbs up. The more thumbs in the air, the more tea videos are going to come your way. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, go click that button. I'm continuously being asked how I assess the quality of tea. And this is not particularly easy because every tea is different. They all have their own quality markers. But of course, I've been buying tea for Mayleaf for over 10 years. I've tasted many thousands of teas, so I have some tips and tricks that I have picked up and I want to share them with you today. If you happen to be watching on the day that this video is being released, which is the 19th of May 2018, there is currently a very big international tea expo happening in Hangzhou in China. It's happening between the 18th and the 22nd of May. It's a big one. It's going to be nearly 1,500 exhibitors. It's a huge exhibition. If you happen to be lucky enough to be in the Hangzhou area, then I highly recommend that you go check it out. I'm not being sponsored by this expo, but it is a great way to go and taste a lot of different teas. However, it can be very overwhelming. I've been invited to this expo. Unfortunately, I can't make it, but I have attended expos like this before, and it is an incredibly overwhelming experience. Tons and tons of tea, so many tea sellers. Everybody wants you to sit and drink tea with them for hours. So you need to develop some methods, some cheats, some hacks to be able to get to the good stuff as quickly as you can. I've already done a video about how you can navigate a Chinese tea market. I'll put a link in the description below. You might want to check that out afterwards because those tips and tricks still apply to expos. However, in this video, what I thought I would do is just go through the 5 ways that I quickly assess the quality of any tea so that I can move on as quickly as possible if I think I'm in front of some duds. Now, I have to say from the outset that quality is obviously personal. If you enjoy the tea, if it's a tea that you love, then it is high quality to you, no matter what anyone else says. However, of course, stretching the boundaries, tasting as many teas as possible is going to give you more context so you can work out what your preferences are and what you consider to be high quality tea. We're going to be doing some blind tastings here. I'm going to be testing myself. So what I've asked Celine to do is to go through our sample selection and select 5 different teas and 2 grades for each tea. This is being done blind. I don't know which tea she selected. I've asked her to write down the name and the retail price per gram on a piece of card. Now, I want to make it very clear here that higher price does not always automatically mean higher quality. The price of tea is dependent on lots of things. It's dependent on how much demand there is for that tea, how much tea the producer still has left, you know, where you're buying the tea from, if you're buying it from direct from source or if you're buying it from wholesale. There's a whole raft of factors which come into play when you're talking about price. But because I know the samples that we're receiving are all direct from source, we're going to make the assumption here that higher price equals higher quality. That's not always the case, and it might not be the case with these teas. I don't know. I'm already making excuses for myself here. I also want to make sure that I point out that there is a very standard tea cupping method for assessing quality, which is widely used around the world. And I do use that from time to time as well. However, in my opinion, it's not my favorite way of assessing quality. For those of you who don't know, the cupping method is a standardized way of brewing tea. It produces a very, very strong, hard brewed liquor so that when you taste it, you can assess the weaknesses and the strengths of a tea very, very quickly. However, for me, it's kind of like a laboratory way of assessing something rather than a real world way of assessing the quality of the tea. And I prefer to assess quality in the real world way of how I would normally brew it rather than this kind of slightly artificial way of brewing. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that may disagree with me, But that's my opinion. You can use the cupping method. As I say, sometimes use the cupping method myself, but for all the teas, I will use these 5 tips as my go-to for assessing quality. Right, let's begin, and we're going to start with the appearance of the leaves. Celine, bring him in. Let's see what you've got for me here. Okay, she's being kind to me here. So we've got A and we've got B. You can't really see anything, so I'm going to move this across. I'm going to show you these leaves in a little bit. She's picked a black tea, and as I said, she's being very kind to me here, starting off easy. Hopefully it will continue this way. So what I want to say here is really be very clear that the appearance of the dry leaf is a quality marker. You can use it to assess quality. However, it can be very deceptive, and for many people it's the most deceptive way of faking quality tea. So we've done videos about Jinjin-mei, for example. Jinjin-mei is a very high quality black tea, and there are many versions of Jinjin-mei on the market that look stunningly beautiful. These beautiful twisted golden buds look incredible, but they really don't make the quality grade for Jinjin-mei. And then the converse can be true. You can get some real ugly teas, but when you taste them, they are divine. I'm going to make a little cheeky metaphor here, and that is, you know, a date, right? The appearance of the dry leaf is kind of like that social media post or that Tinder profile pic that's just been taken at exactly the right angle. If people know how to fake it, they can make some high quality looking tea, even if it's not high quality. And the reverse is true. So bear that in mind. It is a quality marker, but it's not a very reliable one. Let's go through these. I will show you these leaves here. As I said, fairly simple, this one for me. I hope I'm not going to get it wrong. This looks like, it's obviously a black tea. It looks like it's Keeman, probably a Keeman Maofeng would be my guess, although it could be another type of Fujianese black tea, but I'm going to guess Keeman Maofeng. This one here, a lot more broken, a lot more, not consistent shapes, not consistent size compared to this one. Much more whole leaf and much more consistent. So what you're looking for in the appearance of the leaf obviously depends on the individual tea. But the golden rules are you're looking for whole leaf, number one. You're looking for a consistency of the shape. That doesn't necessarily mean that it has to always be the same thing. It doesn't always have to be buds. You can have in the case of, for example, white peony or Bai Mudan, you can have buds and leaves, but you want a consistency within that variation, and also you want a consistency of color. Now, both of these have a very consistent color. You want the color to be the same, or again, if they're varied hues of colors, for that variation to be consistent throughout the sample. You can also look at the texture of the leaf. You can also see how it was processed in terms of how well the bull rolled oolong was rolled, how well the black tea was rolled, for example. But those are all more individual depending on the tea. The key things here are whole leaf versus broken leaf, consistency of shape, and consistency of color, right? I think this one is pretty clear. This one here, sample A, is, in my opinion, the lower quality tea. Let's reveal. I can't see them here. So it is Keeman Maofeng. This is 0.1, 15 cents per gram, and this is 21 cents per gram. I would have actually thought that this would be, you know, a bit higher than that in terms of the difference. So you can see 21 cents per gram and 15 cents per gram, definitely the higher quality tea. All right, let's move on to our second quality marker, and that is the aroma of the leaves. Okay, let's see what you've got here for me. So obviously, I shouldn't really look, but I'm gonna take a little peek at what I've got here. Okay, so we've got Dansongs here. Quick little view of them. They look relatively similar. You can't really see huge differences. This leaf looks slightly bigger, slightly lighter in color, but I'm not going to make any assessments there. What we're going to do now is smell the leaf. Now again, one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to choose tea is they smell the dry leaf. you can get something, but really the personality of the tea reveals itself at least when the Gaiwan is warm, but especially when the leaves are wet. This is one of the big advantages of Gongfu brewing and rinsing your teas, so that you can smell those wet leaves. You can really appreciate the aroma, hopefully if it's a good one, of those wet leaves before you even start brewing. So you're not kind of wasting your brews and allowing it to sit there while you're sniffing the leaves. And it's so fundamental that you make your assessments on the aroma of the leaves from the wet leaves and not the dry leaves. At Mayleaf, we've taken away all dry leaves from our shelves because it's just so frustrating when you see clients coming in and they're sticking their nose in, and we know that they're not going to get a good sense of the scent, the smell, and the quality of the tea through smelling the dry leaves. It's one of the tricks that's used by a lot of tea sellers, and one of the reasons why fragranced tea is so popular, because that's a way to do it. Take low quality tea and fragrance that tea, and therefore you get more of a wow factor. So you've got to make sure you wait, move this out of the way, until the leaves are wet. And if we're gonna take this analogy of the date further, the smell of the wet leaves, or the smell of the aroma of the wet leaves, is kind of equivalent to the actual appearance of the person. So the physical appearance of that person. And just like that, you don't want to be in a dark room. You don't want to be in some, murky atmosphere. You want to be outside, bright sunlight, so you can really assess, how that person looks. It's the same with tea. You want to make sure that it's the wet leaf. So let's get into this. I'm gonna give these a rinse. I don't know which type of Dansong this is, but I might be able to figure it out once I smell these leaves. Give both of them a quick rinse. As I said, this is one of the joys of Gongfu brewing. Anybody who's getting into Gongfu brewing will tell you this. Suddenly there's this whole new aspect to the appreciation of the tea, because you can really sniff those leaves, especially when you have Gaiwans. Okay, so I'm going to smell the lid first. Oh wow, okay. It's probably, smells like a duck shit oolong, although with these Dansongs it could be a dawu, yeah, it could be something else. Smells like a duck shit, really delicious, this one. Creamy, slight vinyl notes, and a fruitiness, more like a cooked cherries, cooked, not plums, cooked cherries, cooked raspberries. Very, very nice. Let's have a sniff of this one. Oh, very similar. Oh. So she started off hard, she started off easy on me, and now this is very, very difficult. But this one here has a bit more almond note going on. The fruit is less of a cooked fruit, is more of a bright cherry note. I'm getting almonds, I'm getting cream, I'm getting cherries. When I smell them back to back, this one is a little bit more on the vinyl, when you go to summer holidays and you have those vinyl inflatables that you have in the pool. A little bit of that, but very, very nice. I mean, I like the smell of vinyl. Fruits, cream, but this one has more nuts. Oh, they both smell incredible, but I am gonna guess that this one is high quality, but I don't think it's by much. And I know Dansongs we have are generally high quality, so the samples that we get are generally high quality. So let's take a look. I'm going to put these away here. What do we have? Okay, so duck shit oolong, duck shit Dansong, 88 grams and $1.10. So 88 cents per gram, $1.10 per gram. I would have thought it would have been closer than that actually in this case, because they are both very, very, very high quality from the smell. I really wish I could start tasting these. I know I've got to move on. So the takeaway points here, a kind of depth and complexity to the aroma. You're looking for a good balance. You're looking for a balance of bright and deep aromas. So a nice spectrum of aromas, not just kind of all light or all dark, but a nice balance of aromas. And you're also looking for a long lasting aroma. So once these leaves have cooled, do they still smell? Yes, they do. Both really, really well. And once you've infused them, multiple times, does it hold on to its aroma? So as you're infusing through the infusions, does it hold on to the aroma? If it does, it's likely to be a higher quality tea. As I said, both of these are high quality. That one just pips it on aroma. I really, really want to taste it, but we need to move on to our third tip, which is the taste and aroma of the liquor. Okay, what have you got for me? I'm gonna again take a quick look. I can't resist. And I will show you too. Okay, it looks like we've got a ball roll do along. It looks like Tie Guan Yin because the rolling of the balls doesn't look like a Taiwanese style. So this is A, this is B. They look very similar to me here, so very difficult to assess on the quality, on the appearance here. So if I was making the judgments in terms of a date, social media profile, Tinder shot looks pretty similar. We're gonna move into aroma, but I'm not gonna smell the empty leaves. Instead, I'm gonna go straight into the taste and aroma of the liquor. I have intentionally missed out here the color and the look of the liquor. There are quality markers in the color and look of the liquor. There are many other quality markers apart from these five, but these five are my go-to when I want to assess things quickly, okay? So I'm gonna put these out of the way. I'm not even gonna smell them, okay? We're just gonna go for the aroma and taste. So when we drink, what we try to do is agitate. You can slurp if you want, agitate it in the mouth, breathe out through the nose while the tea is in your mouth, swallow, allow the liquor and the minerals and nutrients in the tea to settle, and then just kind of taste and breathe out through your nose and taste. I know that sounds obvious, but there is a technique to it, and I have done videos about this before, about slurping. I'll put a link in the description below again. All right, so let's start with A. Definitely a Tie Guan Yin. Nice honeysuckle, orchid notes. A little bit of overripe banana. Definitely a Qingxiang high bright aroma Tie Guan Yin. It's the modern style Tie Guan Yin. Really, really nice. I'm getting a slight sour finish to it. B. Very nice as well. A little bit more stewed fruits, a little bit more stewed in general in terms of taste. A little bit more muted, a little bit more dialed down than this one. So assuming it's the same style of tea, as in Qingxiang style, I would say that this one here seems to have a little bit more of the characteristics that you would expect from a Qingxiang high quality Tie Guan Yin. So delicious tea, but I would go for this one as higher quality. Let's reveal. Let's see. Ta-da! You can see it first before me. What do we have here? Tie Guan Yin from Xiping at 50 cents a gram, and Tie Guan Yin from Ganda at 12 cents a gram. I'm surprised. At 12 cents a gram, that is actually a real bargain, because that's a good tea. But it doesn't have the high notes. It doesn't have the brightness of this one here. So if I'm going to take this dating analogy and keep running with it, I'm not going to let it go. You've gone past the profile pic. You've seen the person in bright light. You've seen the appearance. The taste is really that conversation. It's the first conversation. It's really that interaction. And it's a very personal thing, right? Everybody has flavors and tastes that they like, flavors and tastes that they don't like. In the same way as a conversation, some people like a certain type of conversation over another. It's a very personal thing. But you want to be drawn in, you want that conversation to be something which is very interesting, which is, not something that is going to be very lightweight and very boring. And so therefore, you're looking in this quality marker for taste to be, I would say, very clear, very, have a certain character to it, have a very specific character to it. You're looking for a balance of flavor. So you, again, just like the aroma, you want something that is not just a one note conversation. You also want it to, have, its humorous and its lightness and its deeper moments. So you want that balance. You want those bright, light notes, those high notes, but you also want those deeper notes too. And finally, the taste and aroma needs to be personally enjoyable for you. Everyone is different. Everyone has different flavor memories and things that they like and dislike. So it needs to be something that you enjoy. However, I would also say, don't run away from teas which have flavors which are challenging for you, because just like conversation, sometimes being challenged or being put on the spot may feel uncomfortable at first, but lead to a more satisfying conversation. It's the same with tea. Oftentimes clients come to us and they say, I don't really like that tea. It has a strange taste. I can't quite put my finger on it. And I tell them persist, because many times those teas turn out in the end to have much more longevity, to be a tea that they really learn to love much more than the simpler tastes which were obvious at the beginning. Both delicious teas. A real bargain, that one, but this is the high quality tea. All right, let's move on to our fourth quality marker, which is the mouthfeel and body of the tea. Okay, Celine, what have you got for me? Okay, so we've got some white tea. Make sure that I'm on 90 here. Very different looking white teas. I'm going to show you the look of them here, so you can start to make your assessments in terms of the appearance of the dry leaf. They are very different looking here, but I want to focus here on the body and mouthfeel of the tea. And no smirking at the back over there, but yes, this equates, in my analogy, to the physical experience of the date that you might be having, if it gets to that point, of course. Because ignore this quality marker at your peril. Everyone focuses on taste, on flavor, but mouthfeel and body is one of the most clear quality markers in terms of the quality of the tea or the person, depending on what you are assessing. But it speaks of the quality of the leaf itself. It speaks of the terroir. It speaks of the soil. The mouthfeel has so much. Yes, the mouthfeel is affected by the processing, but really you can't fake it. Mouthfeel is one of the most true quality markers of tea out there. Okay, cheers everyone. So this is a Silver Needle, obviously. It's most definitely from China because we don't have many samples from other places. We do have a few, but I'm going to guess it's Chinese. Let's give it a taste. Or should I say texture? And this is thick, it's syrupy. Oh, beautiful. You want that texture, you want it to be tea and not water. You know, it needs to be thicker than water. In my mouth, it is very thick, very syrupy. The finish is soft, slightly dry. Don't be scared of astringency. That's one of the other things that people always run away from, that dryness. Obviously, if it's too much, that's no good. But some astringency is very important. It gives that physicality to the tea. I've done a video about astringency. I'll put another link in the description below. One more sip of this one. Super, super syrupy, really, really thick, nice and soft, a light dusting, slight chalky dryness towards the end. Let's taste this one. Oh, I can't ignore the taste. This is a completely different animal altogether. Texture is thick, syrupy, but it seems to coat the throat even more than this one. This one, like, I can feel the physicality in my mouth, but less in the throat. This one here, this is like syrup all the way down. It's dry, but the dryness, oh my gosh, the aroma coming through the nose, but the dryness is a little bit more nuanced. It's not just kind of chalky dryness. It's dry to juicy. It's a transforming dryness, this one here. This one has surprised me, actually. I wonder what Celine has pulled out of our bag of goodies. Incredible tea. I thought this was going to be the high quality tea, and it is an incredible tea, this one. I'm going to guess that this is a slightly different variety. I don't know. It might be the same variety, a Dabai variety, but it might be from a different province, something like that. But this one here is crazy. I'm not going to talk about taste. Well, I will. This one is stunning, nutty and fruity and all sorts, but we're focusing on mouthfeel and texture. So I would say that despite the appearance looking like this might be the higher quality, I'm going to say that I think this one here, which is B, is the higher quality. Wow, what a physical experience that one is. Let's give it a reveal. What do we have? Silver Needle Yunnan Dabai 2018. 27 cents per gram versus a Silver Needle Fuding, 2014. Okay, so this is an aged white tea. A little bit of a trick going on here. This is an aged Fuding, so the province is not the same. This is Yunnan, this is Fujian province. It's this one is 2018 and 2014, and you can see the difference in price. 27 cents per gram versus $1.16. So many times, 5 times as much in terms of price. And yeah, really, that's a stunning, stunning tea. I am definitely saving that one. We're going to have many steeps of that afterwards. So what you're looking for in mouthfeel and body is you're looking for a texture which is thicker than water. You're looking for some astringency. You want there to be a physical sensation. You don't want it to be soft and flat. You want that physical sensation, but that astringency needs to be balanced. It needs to be something that is controlled and nuanced, not out of control, that's making your face kind of go like this, and that really intense puckering sensation. So it needs to be balanced astringency, and you really would like to have some lingering sensation. You want your mouth to have the memory that, you know, it has just drunk tea. I don't like it when teas fall very flat and they're very soft, and some people really love very soft teas because they're very kind of like gentle, but you feel like afterwards you can't really remember having tasted that tea. It's not this lingering sensation in the mouth. Both of these have it, but that one here, I can feel it. I can feel this kind of tingling sensation, this dry to juicy sensation, this transforming sensation in my mouth with this one. So mouthfeel and body, and I equate it again to the physical experience of this imaginary date that you are on. Right, moving on to our 5th and final quality marker for tea, and that is the length and finish of the tea. Last one, and I can see some pu'er coming my way.
I couldn't close that one because of the leaves, obviously. Didn't want to crush it.
Okay, so let me show you this. This is a bulging, busting out these raw pu'er leaves. Oof. It's not a session unless there's some pu'er involved at some point. And it's a good choice, actually, Celine, for this last one, because with all teas, the length and finish is such a key quality marker. And with pu'er tea especially, because you can get such persistent long finishes here. 96 degrees, that's all right for a rinse. And then we'll whack it up. Oh, whoa, this is crazy. So big, these leaves. So this is a raw pu'er. I'm not sure if it's Gyushu. I would hazard a guess that it is. That's A, that's B. Let me move this out of the way so you can see a little bit better. Okay, cheers everybody. Now, with length and finish, obviously you need to have a few sips, or ideally a few infusions, to allow these minerals and nutrients to lay down on your tongue and down your throat, so that you can get a good experience of the finish and length of the tea. I don't necessarily have that luxury here. So I'm going to sip a whole cup first. And I'm just going to pause for a bit, breathe out through my nose, and see what kind of aromas and flavors linger in my mouth and if they transform. So I'm getting sweetness, I'm getting bitterness, but that bitterness is transforming to sweetness. Like it. Nice, gentle, nothing too crazy, gentle, but definitely persistent sweetness is going on. Let's taste number 2, B. Wow, she really has challenged me this time. Softer. Flavor profile, not too dissimilar. A little bit more, a little touch more smokiness to this tea, but only slightly. It's very soft, syrupy. When you are doing your tastings, be it by yourself or with a seller or at an expo, obviously you're going to take some time, sit back. Don't just sip, 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 sip. Stop for a second. Give yourself a minute. See how the flavor persists. Sweet, bitter to sweet, transforming. It's hard when you're doing A-B like this back to back, because I'm not sure how much of the sweetness is from this one. You know, it's not so easy, this one. They are very, very, very close in terms of its finish. Another taste. Really, really lovely. Slight jasmine coming through the nose now, through that one. When I breathe out, let's see what this one does. A little bit less, but I mean really, really, really high quality. So what this is telling me in terms of the length and the finish is the quality of the leaves and how many infusions you can get out of these leaves. That's really important. Now, when you're tasting a tea in an expo environment or any kind of environment like that, you can't sit and go through 7, 8, 9, 10 infusions. Otherwise, you'll be sitting with the same person all day, and they may want you to do that so that you end up buying their tea. So what you want to do is try and take a shortcut. How long is this going to last? How many steeps am I going to get out of it without having to sit through every single steep? And the one trick that I would advise you to take is go grab that empty Gong Dao Bei, or if you can't, smell your empty cup, but the Gong Dao Bei is a better option. The minerals and nutrients that are in these leaves are being laid down on my mouth, and how rich these leaves are is going to impact how much length and finish it has and how many steeps I'm going to get out of it. So if after one infusion I'm getting a strong smell, which I am, out of this Gong Dao Bei, and I'm getting caramel and sweet notes here, honey notes here, then I know it's going to go through many infusions. Let's have a sniff of this one. Wow, very, very similar. Oh, I have a feeling I'm going to get this one wrong. Sweetness is about the same. Almost nothing to tell them apart. Maybe this one. I think this one here just has a slightly more persistent aroma. It is very, 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 very slight. I would not expect to get this one right necessarily. Let's see, they are both Iwu Gushus. Iwu Gushu, this one is spring. Oh, she's done a trickster on me. Okay, so this is an Iwu Gushu 2018 spring, so this is new harvest. This is an Iwu Gushu 2017 autumn. And the price difference is only 10 cents per gram. Thank you very much, by the way, for that one. 10 cents per gram, so pretty much the same tea. I think I know where they're from now, which farmer. So if it is what I think it is, it's even the same producer, same plantation, same everything. The only difference is the season. And spring teas just edge it in terms of the amount of nutrients and minerals, but that is a very, very, very close call. Now, if we bring it back to the analogy of our date, then the length and the finish obviously relates to, you know, what happens afterwards. Is this a flash in the pan, you've had a great time, but that's it? Or is there enough complexity? Is there enough interest? Is there enough sweetness and returning kind of charm to the tea that leaves this kind of beautiful lingering memory that makes you want to go back for more? So what you want from length and finish is for the tea to have a lingering aroma, taste, a lingering fragrance. You want it to persist long after you've swallowed. You know, I get really frustrated when I taste a tea which tastes amazing, but after I've swallowed it's disappeared. You want fragrance and aroma that you may not have necessarily picked up when you were drinking the tea, but only reveal themselves after you've swallowed. And for certain teas, what you don't want is a persistent bitterness. You want there to be a transformation, if there is any bitterness, so that that is a kind of fleeting bitterness that then transforms to something really pleasant and sweet afterwards. So that's your fifth and final quality marker for quickly assessing the quality of the tea. Now, I know there are others. For example, body sensation is a big one, but you'll never be able to assess body sensation when you're drinking multiple teas. Obviously, it's all going to mix up and have a kind of combined effect on your body. However, if you are drinking individually, then of course, body sensation is a very important quality marker. And that's why whenever we select teas for Mayleaf, we always make sure we go through at least 2 rounds of selection. So we'll do the first round where we assess with these 5 quality markers which ones we like, and then we'll sit and individually taste the tea through infusions to really get a very clear idea of how it changes through infusions and how it makes you feel. So which of the 5 quality markers are the most important for assessing tea? In my opinion, the final 2. The physical sensation, mouthfeel and body of a tea, and the length and finish of the tea. Those are really the key quality markers for me when selecting teas for Mayleaf. Of course, you have to enjoy the fragrance, aroma, and taste of the tea. That's paramount. However, there are many teas out there when you are selecting from high-grade teas that have good aroma, good fragrance, and good taste. Those are more dependent on those volatiles, and they can change over time. What you cannot fake, what reveals the quality throughout the whole spectrum from the earth, the soil, all the way to the storage, is the mouthfeel, body, length, and finish. And that's why, for me, those are the key quality markers when assessing tea. It's just like a relationship. Assessing a relationship purely on physical appearance is not going to make you happy in the long run. I hope that this video has given you some insights in how I assess quality of tea, and I hope that it's given you some tips that you can apply when tasting teas yourself. That's it, tea heads. If you made it to the end of this video, then make sure you hit it with a thumbs up. Check out our YouTube playlist and let us know if there are any videos that you would like us to make. If you're ever in London, then come visit us in Camden to say hi and taste our wares. If you have any questions or comments, then please fire them over. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.